Welcome back to CK3, where we will be not levitating, but instead becoming the best knight in the game. We find a young duke in Aquitaine, a Chad aspiring tournament knight named Leath Hedger, not to be confused with Leath Hedger, who played a Giga Jouster in A Knight's Tale. He may be young, but he's also a duke, so we make some good coin. Leath will need to marry, so we find a wife that can help us out with our martial. Next, we take the chivalry focus for the prowess boost, and when the time comes, we create our first tournament in Poitiers with a melee as the main event. Young Leath is eager to prove himself and sets off for the tournament grounds. He and his champion Mathis enter the melee. A chance to sabotage our opponent also arises, and we take it, succeeding, but making the other contestants more vigilant in the process. Fiddlesticks. However, we managed to go for a soldier's victory, and with a final push, win our first ever melee. The first of many victories to come. It was a great occasion. We made a name for ourselves, and now we need to save up a little bit more for tournaments and more chances to claim victory. This is made a little bit easier by winning a prize armor. Leath spends some of his hard-earned gold on stables to get extra practice and for the tournaments to be cheaper. We stay sharp by hunting and making friends with our fellow vassals. In between tourneys, Leath comes down with a bad case of lunacy. Quite unfortunate, but at least it doesn't affect our skills. By 1082, we're ready to host our next tournament with a melee and a joust. We start with the joust. Leath is ready. We go full tilt and we win our first joust just as the Holy Roman Emperor arrives to witness our early round victory. We move on to the finals, and once again, unseat our enemy. Leath is pumped about this victory. Unfortunately, the ecstasy is short-lived, as Leath Hedger takes a loss in the melee. Regardless, we are still at the podium with a jousting victory under our belt. Time for more training. In between tournaments, our ally in Aragon calls us to aid in the Reconquista. We hone our martial skills, and Leath proves himself a capable commander, smashing the Taifa kings of Spain. The word of the great Leath Hedger spreads, and upon returning to Aquitaine, he receives the nickname The Strong. The deeds of Leath allow him to get a new legacy, and the obvious choice is House of Warriors. Leath enters our next tournament, hoping to rebound in the melee, but eventually we lose to Count Arnaud. Luckily, we have archery up next, and Leath continues to shoot well, eventually leading to our first archery victory. We bring home a prize bow that will help us in future tournaments. A pretty good showing at our first couple of tournaments. It was only the very next year that Leath became the very best, at least according to the achievements. Leath also gains a nemesis after helping Aragon out in another Reconquista. Soon after, the Pope calls for a crusade, and Leath, being a very good Catholic, pledges his men to take Pomerania and selects his daughter to be the beneficiary. Day is Volt. The time for the crusade comes, and Leath's men march north. Leath gets the prestigious Crusader trait after some sieges, improving his prowess. Then, Leath's army was set upon by 10,000 enemy soldiers, but his men hold on until allied reinforcements arrive, defeating the Pomeranians. The enemies decide to meet Leath in a battle once more, outnumbering him 3-1, but Leath's men hold on long enough just for allied armies to reach the battlefield, turning a defeat into a decisive victory. The Battle of Cassinia decided the war, and for his heroics, Leath's daughter was granted the Kingdom of Pomerania. Leath continues down the warpath, heading to Iberia to help our Aragonese allies. Now it's time to host another tournament. We go with a melee, wrestling, and archery. Our fortunes turn as King Sancho and Leath win the melee. Then Leath and his hot bod make it to the wrestling finals. He then meets his match, and Count Roger beats him in the final. Up next, archery. Our favorite contest, and despite having a low chance to win, our last arrow wins the contest for us. 2 out of 3 contests won, so it's not a bad showing for Leath this time around. With that, we also max out all of our knightly traits, minus wit, making Leath Hedger the best knight in CK3. Thanks for watching, and let me know what video you want next in the comments below. See ya!